Hi and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be diving into the human design chart of Hollywood icon Grace Kelly. So we are going completely old school today. So if you are a fan of Grace Kelly, if you admire her work, if you are indeed a generator, a pure generator, the same as her, she is a 1-3 emotional generator, and you're looking for some insights into how you can create success in your life, in your career, then this video is for you. If you like this video, then please like it, comment below. I'm always looking out for comments. Subscribe to my channel. Sign up for notifications. It really helps this channel to grow. And the reason that I love to come in and share these readings with you is that these celebrities are like celebrities by default. Celebrity is not their profession. Their profession, in Grace Kelly's case, she was an actor, and she was a very fantastic actor in my opinion. And then she decided to go and take a different route in her life, as we all know. But she was famous and a celebrity by default because she was very successful in her career. So I love to go and look at the human design charts of other, especially women, who have created incredible success in their life, in their career, in their business. And then I'm like, okay, like what lessons can I learn from them, especially if there are similarities in my human design chart to theirs. So this is what I'm hoping for you, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. Plus it's really good fun. Okay, so as I've already said, Grace Kelly is a pure generator. She is a 1-3 generator with emotional inner authority. I'm going to dive into her chart now. So the magic of Ecam Life is bringing this chart onto your screen now. So let's have a look at her chart. You'll see that she has got a lot of definition in her chart. So what I mean by that, if you're new to human design, is that you see all these centers that are colored in. There are 9 centers in her chart. There's 9 centers in everyone's chart, and these are colored in gray. So they are defined, and it just means that she has got consistent energy in these centers because all 9 of the centers carry their own energy. So her Ashna is defined, so that's the center for conceptualization. Her throat is defined, that is the center for speaking, it's the center for manifestation. So she would have, her voice would have been heard, she would have had a very fixed way of speaking. Her G center is also defined, that's self-direction, self-love. She definitely knew where she was going. I think Grace Kelly is, and I say is. Let me just pause here for a minute and just talk about my interpretation of energy. Okay, we are all energy, we're energy beings, and human design shows us how we can work with that energy. As far as I'm concerned, my point of view around this is that energy never dies. So Grace Kelly's energy is still here. It's still here in the universe. But what we do is we take a higher vibrational frequency with us, and we leave our lower vibrational frequency. So Grace Kelly's lower vibrational frequency as a generator is frustration. So she would have left that with her, and she would have taken the higher vibrational frequency of satisfaction with her, because it's just like pure love. It's pure love out of the human body and onto our next journey. And being an energy being in this universe is all pure love, and she would have had that, she will still have that wonderful signature of satisfaction as she is out in the world. Okay, so that is my interpretation of it. You might have a different belief and a different understanding of it, but that's what I believe. So her G center, she's got she has this wonderful sense of direction and knowing who she is. And then her heart center ego, which is not a bad thing when you're in Hollywood, right? And then willpower, very, very defined, self-value. She really valued herself. You could see that in her aura, in her energy, the way that she carried herself on screen and off screen. She like valued herself. She knew her worth. She married a prince. I mean, she knew her worth, right? And then she has the defined sacral, which makes her a generator. And then her defined spleen, which is health and wellness and fear. So she had a very consistent way of processing that. And then let's move over to her solar plexus, which is her emotional authority. So the reason that she has her inner authority is emotional is that her solar plexus is defined. So that means that she is designed, or she was designed, to make decisions not in the moment, but to contemplate them, and actually to wait until there was very little nervousness in her body. So if you have an inner authority of emotional solar plexus, like Grace Kelly, what that means is that you have this emotional wave that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And it is not going to be in your best interest if you make decisions based on an emotional reaction. Okay, so if you have got, anger about something, or, frustration about something, like if you respond to that in the moment and make your decisions on that, it doesn't stand you in good stead. Now, you might say to me, well, Abby, that's the same for everyone. Yes, of course it is. It's not really a great idea for us to make decisions when we're angry, but there are different inner authorities and different ways of making decisions. The solar plexus, what makes the solar plexus so different, and the emotional inner authority, is this emotional wave that goes up and down. And you need to, just as Grace Kelly did, you need to be able to feel all the emotions, like the nuances of all of those, because your emotional roller coaster will be up, 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 and down, 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 up, 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 down, down, down. And I'd love to know this actually in the comments, if you can relate to this. I certainly can, with emotional inner authority, that, there are some days that I'm really on top of the world and really happy, and then there'll be some days that I feel lower, that I'm in my projector bitterness as my lower vibration. And maybe as a generator, you are in your lower signature or your lower, like your knock self-esteem theme, your lower vibration of frustration. But the key is to wait until there's a very little nervousness in your body to make a decision. I always say to you that if you have an emotional inner authority, just like Grace Kelly, the best words that you can use is, you know what, I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to make my decision later. I'm not going to let you know I'm going to sleep on it. And some people don't like that. I mean, have you ever been on a sales call with a really pushy coach that's trying to push and cajole into you buying their program, and they want a decision on the phone? You need to put your boundaries in for 100%. If you've got emotional solar plexus inner authority, put your boundaries in. Do not make a decision in the moment, because it might be that you're so hyped up with that call that you're like, yes, I want to do it. And then you get buyer's regret. It's not just going on to a call with a pushy coach or a pushy salesperson. It'd be like going and buying a car. Like, how many of you have gone to car showrooms and the salesperson, man normally, will be really trying to get you to buy in that moment, because they know how to hype you up to that emotional state so that you can go, yes, of course I want that car. Of course I want to drop 60k on that car. Yes, let's go for it. And then the next day you're like, what the hell have I just done? They are trained to do that. So counteract it and go, you know what, I'm just going to sleep on it. And it doesn't matter if they're giving you all these deals, like if you buy now, you'll get this. You know what, I'm going to sleep on it. And if they have any integrity, they will respect that, because you want to be making the right decision. And it's the same as, if you're feeling frustrated with something, do not make that decision in the moment. Okay. Now, what I find really interesting about Grace Kelly's human design is that her head center is completely open. So that's the center for ideas and inspiration, and her root center is undefined. Okay, so both of those areas do not have definition in it. These are pressure centers. The head center, there'll be a lot of pressure to make a decision. I need to look intelligent. I need to sound intelligent. I need to make a decision now. I'm going to make a decision now. Okay. Or the root center, I need to act. I need to act now. This pressure that we can feel from others. And what they do is they take us out of the game. Because what happens with these pressure centers, especially when they are either open or undefined, and you are taking in that pressure from other people, they can cause us to go against our strategy. And for you as a generator, if you are watching this and like Grace Kelly, you are a generator, that means you are going to be going against and working against your inner authority, which is, sorry, not your inner authority, your strategy, which is to respond. To respond. And that is waiting to respond. What can very often happen with these undefined centers, the pressure centers, the head and the root, is that you will be feeling that pressure from others, the pressure to act, the pressure to make a decision, the pressure to come up with an answer, because you want to look good and you want to prove yourself and all of these things. So what's happening is you will then act, and you'll be acting like a manifester. So you will be self-initiating instead of actually waiting to respond to something and then initiating as a result of that. You are not a manifester. You are not designed to self-initiate. You are designed to wait to respond. You're designed to wait to respond, and it's about really trusting your aura. You have this beautiful aura that is designed to attract opportunities into your life, just like Grace Kelly. Look at all the opportunities that she had in her life. I mean, she was a very, very successful film star. And then at 26 years old, very, very young, I didn't realize how young she was actually when she married Prince Rainier. So to use his official title, Rainier III, Prince of Monaco, she stepped away from Hollywood at the peak of her career to marry him, to become a princess, to become part of Monaco royalty. So these centers, these pressure centers, it's important that you don't let them take you out of the game, and that you still operate within your strategy, which is to respond. And it's interesting because I always talk about, being a generator as queen energy. So you have this. That was it. We were talking about Grace Kelly's magnetic aura, weren't we? So it's trusting your magnetic aura. So Grace Kelly's magnetic aura as a generator, attracting opportunities into her, attracting opportunities as a film star, attracting opportunities as a spokesperson, attracting opportunities as, a public figure, as royalty. Trusting that and then being able to respond to it. That's what's really important for you as a generator, to know that you don't need to go chasing after things. Okay, you can wait for things to come to you, like queen energy. A queen sits on her throne. She waits for opportunities to come to her. I think Grace Kelly, not only obviously with the obvious, like she became royalty and a princess, but I just think her aura, the way that she showed up off screen, I'm particularly talking about, because obviously on screen she was acting, although there'll be a part of her that was in every role. I think she demonstrated very beautifully, like this beautiful, like queen energy. I think she was more royal than the royals, to be honest with you. Like, so, like knowing her worth, like I know my worth, I know my value, I have a defined heart center, I know exactly what direction I'm going to, I love myself, I honor myself. I'm going to wait for these opportunities to come to me, and then I'm going to respond to her. Okay, any questions about this, then of course, please write them below and I will come on and answer them for you. How are we doing for time? I want to make sure that these videos aren't too long. Okay, we're good. We've got about another 5 minutes. Okay, so she has the right angle cross of explanation, which is her incarnation cross. So her incarnation cross is her broader profile. And she is here to inform and explain. She's actually designed to be able to communicate with a wide spectrum of people. But one of the things I would have probably noticed about Grace Kelly if I'd have known her and hung out with her is that she would have been prone to blurt things out. So this is what happens with the right angle cross of explanation. So if you have the right angle cross of explanation, just like Grace Kelly, then you are here to inform and explain. But sometimes, like, what you say, it feels really attuned and people can respond to that, and other times you're just like, people are like, what is she talking about, like, seriously? So it can seem like a little bit disjointed and a little bit crazy, and that's because you have a tendency to blurt things out. So your job, your challenge is to make yourself understood, because actually you carry a lot of wisdom. You carry a lot of wisdom in that incarnation cross. And let's look actually at, so right angle cross of explanation, 4323. Let's look at that channel, because this is the channel that I'm really attracted to, is her throat. There's things that have been coming up about her throat, okay? For me, when I've been looking at her human design, she has the channel of structuring, which is gate 43, which is in her Ashna, attached to gate 23, which is in her throat center. And if you have got the channel of structuring like Grace Kelly, then you will have this deep knowing. Very often it's not logical. You can't explain it, but you know, like, it's like your words are, I know, like, you know. It's very spontaneous and very powerful. And it's very radical. So very often this knowing about life is very ahead of its time. You are the voice of the future. And sometimes people don't understand that. They don't get that. And that's why we call the incarnation cross also the right angle cross of explanation, because you need to explain things to people sometimes, because sometimes what you're saying is difficult for people to understand, because you are so far ahead. But that's good. It's good that you're far ahead. We need you in this world. You speak transformational truths. Sometimes people don't like to hear that. Sometimes it's too much. So very often you can feel very silenced or misunderstood. And I really, really feel this from Grace Kelly. I feel like she was very misunderstood, and I feel especially, well, she would have been silenced to some extent as well, because she was a woman in Hollywood. Okay, so however successful she was, I would have thought that she would have had that experience. But also, I don't know, there's just something that I feel like when she was in Monaco, whenever I go to Monaco, I really, really feel her energy and I really feel her presence. Bearing in mind, again, this is someone that was at the peak of her career, that decided to marry her prince. And no doubt she married for love and she was swept away by all of it. But, you know, Monaco is a very, very beautiful place. It's a very small place. So it's a very small principality. And there's a lot of buildings that are kind of like put into one very small place. Okay, so there's a lot of, you've got this beautiful bay with all these beautiful yachts, and then you've got these high-rise buildings, and then at the top of the hill sits the palace. And it's just, I feel very sad energy when I look at that. I just feel sadness when I see it, when I look at it. So I just wonder what it must have been like for Grace Kelly to have this incredible career in Hollywood, and then to meet a prince and be swept away and go and visit, like, Monaco, visit Monte Carlo, to experience that whole of that beautiful, beautiful coastline there in the south of France. And, you know, to have the roof down on her car and feel the wind on her hair, and that windy road. This is beautiful, like windy road that takes you down, 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 down into Monte Carlo, and to see the bay and to experience all of this and be swept away by it. And then eventually the fairy tale turns into reality, and maybe her perception and the dreams about her life maybe didn't match up to the reality of living there, because it's a tax haven. And you know, we go to Monte Carlo a lot. I love the place, I love it, but I feel, when I'm there, I feel stifled. I feel stifled. It's small, and I really feel that energy from her, and I feel the restriction in her throat center when I tap into her when we go to Monaco. So anyway, that's a little bit about the interpretation of her human design chart. And of course, just finally in close, her profile is 1-3. So line 1, investigator, researcher. You know, in her wonderful career as an actress, she would have done her research and her due diligence in terms of her roles. And then her 3, line 3 within her profile, well, she's designed to throw herself at life and to live life to its fullest potential. And oh my God, did she do that? And of course, you know, when you play fully on the field, when you take yourself off the benches and actually play full out at life, then you are going to make mistakes in life, and that's absolutely fine because you learn from them. You know, when we stay safe and in our comfort zone, we might not make those mistakes, but are we really living life? Like, she lived life. So I really want to celebrate that about Grace Kelly, that she really lived her life as a 1-3 profile. Actually, the final thing that I wanted to point out to you is her environment. So her environment is kitchen. So she is designed to be around diverse groups of people, you know, new restaurant openings, like the hubbub. Imagine that you're at a party and then you're in the kitchen. It all happens at the kitchen. Okay, so everyone gathers from all parts of the world coming together. And I'm also a kitchen, so maybe that's why I tap into her energy when I go over there to Monaco, because she would have experienced that, you know, living the life of a royal and going to parties. And, you know, she wouldn't have just stayed in Monaco, she would have travelled. But I don't know, when she was in her palace at the top of the hill, like removed from everyone, she wouldn't have been in her kitchen's environment. And I think that would have been really soul destroying for her and really debilitating. And what would have happened with that is that Grace Kelly would not have been able to attract in opportunities through her generator. So she wouldn't have been able to respond to things, because what would there have been to respond to? Yes, of course, she had a family and there would have been staff there and there would have been visitors, but yeah, I just wonder what would have happened if she'd taken a different life, if she'd taken a different opportunity in life, you know, and been a public figure and used that beautiful throat center and her channel of structuring to, you know, to be able to communicate in that way. But she chose her life, and I'm sure that she, you know, lived her life to her fullest as a line 3. And I just love her so much. I love her films, I love her energy, and I really hope that you have found some insights in this when I've been doing her human design. So again, any questions, answer below. If you want to find out more about human design, visit my website, abigailrebecca.com. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon.